Okay, so let's get right into this because a lot of people are always wondering, does the SSA truly believe who I am as an individual when it comes to Social Security disability insurance? Disability being the main thing, okay? Also, supplemental security income. Now, they wonder, where is the SSA at when it comes to believing how severe they are? Because, let's just be honest about this, right? How severe somebody's impairments are, there's a big swing to it. It's a swing to the left, a swing to the right. Maybe you're more severe, maybe you're not. Maybe it's not showing that you are as severe on medical documentation, but in reality, it's affecting you in a very severe way. Maybe in combination with your other impairments, it creates these severe limitations to actually completing things. And so, as a result, we have to look at, does the SSA think you are essentially a fraud based individual when it comes to the severity of your disability? Now, when I was going ahead and preparing videos for last night, which I never shot, this was the first one I was supposed to do. I woke up this morning and I had a realization when it comes to doing this video. The main thing is a lot of people automatically assume that they know what fraud is for the SSA, that they would know the definition of it. And so what we're going to go over is essentially directly from their website when it comes to fraud prevention and reporting, and essentially how they see it through their eyes. So let's get right into it. Please remember to like, please remember to subscribe, click the all button. And if you want to and you get a chance, don't forget to go to Disability Resolution on Google, Disability Resolution Law Firm, and throw some stars up there. All right, here we go. All right, Social Security combats fraud. This is straight from their website. Social Security has zero tolerance for fraud. We diligently work at the national, regional, and local levels to combat fraud that undermines our mission to serve the American public. Simple. To meet this challenge, we work closely with our Office of the Inspector General, which investigates allegations of fraud and seeks to bring offenders to justice. The OIG refers cases to the U.S. attorneys with the Department of Justice and other state and local prosecuting authorities for prosecution as federal crimes. Now, remember, not all these are federal crimes. Okay, let's just get that out there. Remember, if they're going to process something against an individual who's claiming they're disabled when they're actually not, there's administrative, civil, and criminal, right? How bad is the punishment to you? Administrative, civil, and criminal. Okay, excellent. What is Social Security fraud? Fraud involves obtaining something of value. Something of value. You're obtaining something of value through willful, you intended, there was intention, misrepresentation. You played with the facts a little bit. You wiggled the facts this way and that way, and you came out with something that was total bullshit. There you go. All right. Fraud involves obtaining something, got something of value through willful misrepresentation. In the context of our programs, fraud exists when a person fails. When a person, right, could be the claimant, could be somebody else that somehow integrates with the claimant. When a person fails to disclose, doesn't tell somebody something, doesn't tell the SSA, a material fact, something that would flip the whole situation one way or the other, for use in getting benefits and payments. Let me do it again. In the context of our programs, fraud exists when a person fails to disclose, say something, about a material fact, something that would make it go this way or that way with receiving benefits or how much benefits you're getting, for use in getting benefits and payments. Information is material when it could influence our determination on entitlement or eligibility to benefits under the Social Security Act. Putting it another way, it's something that helped guide them in a material or a large enough way to give you benefits, to allow you to receive that check. Examples of fraud includes, and this is the good part because this actually gives us like things where they're saying, hey, this is essentially where, if you're doing something like this, then you should watch out. Here we go. Number one, making false statements on claims, right? So for example, if you have a claim situation, you're claiming, my anxiety is really, really bad, but then, you're not seeing anybody for, anxiety, or maybe you're only seeing a PCP for anxiety. That's not fraud, but, if you were to go ahead and make attachment statements, because, and let me explain the difference there. Let me give you like the back and forth of it. A lot of people, when filing for disability benefits, say they're really bad. Okay. The main issue is that they don't have signs, okay, and basically, medical documentation that shows how bad their impairment is. And the impairment could not be super duper bad. It could be that the impairment in combination with other impairments, or the impairments, result with your particular body, causes you these severe limitations. That's why we have vocational allowance, because if you can't do stuff, you can't work a job. If you can't work a job, you can't make money. If you can't make money, you're disabled. Not guilty. Thank you. Thank you for the $5 donation. That's awesome. Not guilty said the function report is designed for failure. Be consistent. Cross T's and dot your I's if you do it without your attorney. So yeah, the big thing with the 3373 is that is the form where they ask you about, can you take care of others? Can you do basic functions like cooking, cleaning, laundry, paying bills, getting dressed, showering, going to the bathroom, all those things. And so what happens is a lot of people, and this is the form that I literally have to communicate with claimants the most about, because they make the most mistakes on this form. I have never personally received a perfect 3373. I've received very good 3373s. I have never received a perfect 3373. That is where most people make the mistake about putting things down. They miss opportunities about explaining a limitation that they have with an impairment. So, like, for example, when it comes to, are you able to take care of kids? Right? So what they're asking is, are you able to handle the scheduling of being there on time? Are you able to handle management of other human beings? Are you able to handle the scheduling of taking care of those human beings' needs, like, getting them food on time, getting them dressed on time, getting them showered on time, getting them ready on time, getting them the functions that they need to be? Are you driving them to school? Are you interacting as a parental figure with giving them guidance? There's all these things in there that the claimants, they never see. And they're not going to see it. Then no matter what you do, like, you can never have something like a person's brain see it when they're not in the industry of it. So you get statements like, yeah, I could do that. Or you get statements like, not often, and then they miss opportunities to go ahead and produce documentation, which outlines all the stuff that they need to put down there. But it is what it is. So making false statements on claims. A false statement, for example, would be, there's so many you could make. A false statement would be, for example, where you would state that you couldn't drive, right? And then all of a sudden, 2 weeks after you complete the report, you get pulled over in a U-Haul, moving all your furniture from where you used to live to where you're going to live, right? And you're the one who's driving. That would be a false statement, right? Okay. Next one. Concealing facts or events that affect eligibility for benefits. So, like, earning under the table kind of stuff, concealing, maybe you've a charge against you that's not easily found by the federal government that would affect your eligibility for SSI, stuff like that. Next one, misusing benefits by a representative payee. Let's say a payee receives funds and the payee is like, okay, cool. What we're going to do here is we are going to, instead of giving this money to the disabled person, we're going to go ahead and give this money to Disney World and go have a good time, or buy a big screen TV and, use that with the gaming system. That would be misusing the benefits. Failing to notify the agency of the death of a beneficiary and continuing to receive the deceased person's benefits. This happens all the time. This, once again, happens all the time. There are people who all the friggin' time will have a parent pass away. They will, somehow be on their account. So the SSA will send out a, hey, we noticed you aren't using your Medicare. We're just wondering, like, are you kicking? Are you having a good time? Like, what are you doing? And they're, oh yeah, everything's super dupe. Everything's amazing. Oh my goodness. Look, guys, just for those who are out there thinking about how you can, like, continue to get the retirement check even after your parent passes away, because don't BS the fluff on me, because I know how it works. That child of the disabled person becomes reliant on that retirement check. I get it. I understand how it is. America is not a fun place. You're basically pushed into work. You don't get to choose to be born. You have no choice in this. I get that. I totally get it. But here's the thing. The SSA through OIG has all these checkmark steps. Is that elderly person still using their Medicare? Is that elderly person still going to their PCP? When was the last time that elderly person renewed their medication? There's all these little step checks that they use to essentially see whether or not this elderly person is still alive or not. And then it comes down to the home visit, right? After the documents get sent out and you say, yeah, they're still alive. And then basically you get in a lot of trouble. And I don't do all the videos where they catch people doing this, but they catch people doing this all the time. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a video a day that I could actually do on this topic. That's how many people throughout the history of this program have abused claiming that their, mom or dad or whoever was still alive, even though they passed away 2 years ago. Okay. And they don't usually catch it 2 years ago. They'll usually catch it like 5 or 6 years. Like, there hasn't been much interaction years, into the future. Next one, buying or selling social security cards. That's a big no-no, an extra soppy no-no. Okay. Filing claims under another person's social security number. Also an extra big and saucy no-no. You don't want to commit that kind of fraud. Now, the problem is you do get people who are able to manipulate the system enough where they'll have like a fake ID made, and the fake ID will reference this, and they'll have a fake social security number made, and their face will be on it, and that's what they're using, yada yada. At some point, we have to have something more than just a social security number, like an actual, like, I don't know, deeper, more special ID badge, or I don't know. It could even be genetic, where it's like, okay, here's your special, here's that one code that goes with that helix, or whatever. But we're just at the point where social security numbers are not a safe way to conduct. It's just they're just not. They're not. Next one, scamming people by impersonating our employees. So this one happens a lot. It's been happening a lot less. Commissioner Saul was very aggressive on the scamming stuff. And then Commissioner Kishikaze picked that up and kept going with it. And Commissioner Martin O'Malley, we'll see where he stands on that. But I'm pretty sure, he just did a big celebration thing with Slam the Scam. So my thing with this is that the SSA through OIG has reached out to entire telephone companies to punish them for allowing these fraud groups to communicate and use their systems to massively call, potential social security recipients. Now, the scary thing you should be wondering about is, well, do they just call everybody? And when somebody says they're receiving their benefit and it's the SSA and they respond, they just attack that person? Or is it one of those things where, they're basically, they have a list of people on social security benefits, and those are the people that basically they're going after? Now, just from a hacker standpoint, like if your brain was operating like a hacker, assume you could have a list of recipients, right, of benefits. You could go ahead and look at like an AARNP list, and go ahead and pull that list, because those individuals are most likely going to be on retirement. You could look at events that are specific for seniors, right? And you could try and steal that, or you could just go ahead and have pictures from the event and do facial recognition on those photos and link it to somehow who they are as a person, and then get their phone and then call them. There's a lot of ways that you could harvest a list to go ahead and reach out to these people. And that's what they do. That's how they do it. Next one, bribing Social Security employees. Now, you don't hear a lot about bribing of like field office reps or like, DDS reps, stuff like that. Where you see the news articles about bribing are usually the administrative law judges. And there's not a lot of them. It doesn't happen super often, but when it happens, it is a massive chunk of money. Okay, we're talking about millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. And so when that happens, it is usually like, oh my goodness. We had one where basically every single claim was approved by one particular administrative law judge. And I can tell you right now, there is no attorney on planet Earth that can get a 100% approval rating. Okay, and I mean, we know which ones to pick to have an extremely high likelihood of approval. Like we know exactly which ones to pick, but we can't just pick those. There's not enough of them. We have to pick, the okay, good ones, the all right, that's going to work ones. And then we get to the middle ground ones. We take some of those, but the way the Social Security Administration is working now is that we have like the not going to win the wins. And we used to take like, maybe to the wins, but now attorneys are mostly taking pretty has, what I mean? And that's because the SSA keeps closing the doors on how likely somebody in this category right here is likely to be found disabled. So we keep taking fewer and fewer of the riskier claims because we just can't afford to work with somebody for all those years and then not, get a win, Next one. Misusing grant or contract funds. Misusing grant or contract funds. So the SSA, a lot of people don't know this, gives out grants to people who want to innovate new future programs, systems, etc. with the SSA. And, misusing of the grant funds to like, go on some trip to Nevada or whatever and I mean, it wouldn't have to be that extreme, like, oh, I went to the Netherlands, it wouldn't have to be, it could just be, not having the employees do what they're supposed to do to, complete the assignment. It could be something as simple as that. Now, they go through how to report fraud, 800-269-0271, right? That's OIG's fraud hotline. They also have like an online review thing where you can go ahead and submit it through their website. They have this slam the scam thing, which is their big thing, which is ironic because the slam the scam always shows like a phone that you are physically destroying by slamming it with your finger, which I always thought was an interesting message, considering that most people shouldn't destroy their phone when trying to report fraud. So that's basically things. Now I want to go through this over here. I thought this was an interesting part. Measures you can take to prevent identity theft, because remember, the Social Security Administration is the most scammed agency in America. If you look at every agency, it's the most scammed agency when it comes to money stolen, from the distribution or moving of funds. Okay. So measures you can do to prevent identity theft. Identity theft happens when a person illegally uses your personal information to commit fraud. Someone illegally uses your Social Security number, assuming your identity, can cause a lot of problems. There are several things you should do to prevent identity theft. Here we go. Do not routinely carry your Social Security number. Okay, that's an option. Never say your Social Security number aloud in public. That's an option. Beware of phishing scams, emails, internet links, and phone calls trying to trick you into revealing personal identification info. Create a personal My Social Security account to help you keep track of your records and identify any suspicious activity. Consider adding these blocks to your account with us. The e-service block. This prevents anyone, including you, from seeing or changing your personal information online. Once we add the block, your representative will need to contact your local office to request its removal. That's good, especially if people live in areas that are known for high scam traffic. And so the big problem that a lot of people don't realize is that back in the day, when you would like slip your debit card or credit card into like the CVS or the Walgreens or whatever machine, they had skimmers, right? And they were like these plastic things that they put over the machine. It would read your card as you slipped your card in, etc. Kevin Barrett, thank you. Love that. There you go, 99-cent donation, very awesome. There you go. There you go, very nice. So here's basically the thing, like, they don't have like a giant plastic thing anymore with those. It's purely just a piece of tape. It's just a piece of tape, clear, see-through over the top of the thing. You can read your info now. Like, a lot of people don't realize, like, they have see-through aluminum. That's like just as almost see-through as like a very polished glass. So like modern ships, right? Modern heavy-duty ships are put for their glass. They're putting heavy see-through aluminum in there in the actual where you would normally look through the window, because it's harder to obviously get through that than a lot of types of glass. With that said, you have some bullet type proof glasses that are even stronger than that, but depends on how thick you make the aluminum, because I mean you could really bolster that and make it incredibly strong. But I'm starting to see the technologies come out where stuff is just it's able to be seen through. And the problem is that like people are expecting people are expecting this. They're expecting like when they like pull the machine apart and be like, oh, here was the thing that did it. They're expecting. It's not like that anymore. It's not like that anymore. So anyway, let me see real quick with this. All right. Now, with that said, I just want to go through a couple basics to kind of go through this. Let's see. Anything else? The direct deposit fraud prevention block. This prevents anyone, including you, from enrolling in direct deposit or changing your address or direct deposit information through My Social Security or financial institution. Once we add the block, you or your representative will need to contact your local office to request this removal. You'll need to do the same to make any future changes to direct deposit or contact information. It's not a bad idea to add these blocks. It's not a bad idea, but just remember, if you've got a problem and you need a quick fix, it's something that might be, something that you can't get fixed right away. Because how many of you have tried to contact the Social Security Administration field offices recently, right? It takes 30 to 50 minutes to basically get somebody on the phone. And then the trick that usually happens, like the thing that just keeps happening to people over and over, is they'll wait 30 to 50 minutes. Somebody will pick up and then immediately hang up. And then they'll go to the next call. Someone will pick up and then immediately hang up. And so what's just crushing people and why they're getting so angry with the SSA is that something's going on with the SSA phone systems. And by phone systems, what I really mean is something's going on with the SSA personnel, the local FO people. There's some dynamic, some policy, something in the situation where, just to be fair, like, maybe they're getting hit on review points where they're not getting enough calls in and something like that. And they'll just click it off and then boom, take another call, click it off and then take boom, another call. But at the end of the day, I think the problem, to be fair, is that there's a personnel issue with the SSA where people will spend 30, 50 minutes, they call in, they kick it off, and then all of a sudden they are absolutely ripping pissed because, if you wait that long to fix something as important as like you didn't get your check for the month and that check was potentially stolen, like you're going to be upset if you can't get through to the group that you put a block on this thing with. So anyways, here's the thing. These are all of the methods that they use to look at, like the bullet points for whether or not they see fraud, right? And whether or not fraud is present, whether or not it's going to be something where they look into it with the Office of Inspector General. Now, just to make sure you guys understand, the Commissioner, Office of Inspector General, Commissioner, Office of Inspector General, CDI units, CDI investigator, and then somewhere around here, right here is DDS, who basically helps with getting this or that or, yada, yada. But the point is, just so you fully understand it, those are the groups that are taking great interest in reviewing people because the SSA is going through an audit period. And the reason the SSA is going through an audit period is that it's running out of money in its trust funds. It's becoming a lot more expensive than it used to be to run. It's costing significant amounts of money, and it doesn't have enough employees as it is. And at the end of the day, it's just not a very efficient machine. People aren't happy with it. They like the program, they like the money, right? They just don't like how efficient it is. And that's one of the big things you have to point out with people. People are like, "Oh, Social Security Administration is failing and it's horrible. And how could they do this?" It's not failing and it's not horrible. It's just not efficient. It's not, what it does with your trust fund money, it's not efficient. What it does with its phone call systems, it's not efficient. What it does with its online AI interactions, which there are none, it's not efficient. There's these things that they could do. It's not efficient. If it worked like it was supposed to, people would be okay with it. But they do have to fix the cost of living adjustment because people are getting screwed out of about $500 a month over the past 23, 24 years. So a lot of people, if you haven't seen my videos before, go check out cost of living adjustments where they give you a little bit more each year. It turns out that they're not actually giving you enough based off the math of it all, and you get about $500 less than you should be as a result of those little increments never being enough over the past 23 years. Kevin Barrett, thank you for the 99-cent donation. I absolutely appreciate it. Now, guys, we're going to catch you at the next video in about 10 minutes. I'm going to go grab a drink. You have a wonderful, wonderful intermission. I will catch up with you shortly, and I will see you soon. Please remember to like, subscribe, and thank you to all the members, and also thank you to those who donated. And if you can, go to Google and basically type in Disability Resolution Law Firm or Disability Resolution Florida and throw some stars up there. I will catch you a little bit later, and we'll go from there. Thanks so much. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.